We may be getting another reminder of just how powerful, but mainly pervasive, the U.S. NSA has become, the National Security Agency. Now, in the past 24 hours alone, two separate news organizations have accused the NSA of spying on friendly governments and its citizens. According to the newspaper Le Monde in France, the U.S. spy agency intercepted more than 70 million phone calls in France over a one-month period recently. It's also accused of hacking the Mexican president's email account. More on that later this hour. Let's start with what allegedly happened in France. Jim Bitterman is with us now from CNN Paris. So, Jim, tell us about this Le Monde piece. I understand they've been working on it since August. It's based on leaks and revelations by Edward Snowden, as have been other aspects of the NSA's program in the United States, for instance. What is Le Monde saying the NSA did in France?
Well, I think that what the French are reacting to strongest are the details in this. The fact that there were 70 million intercepts over a 30-day period, that these intercepts involve people not just as terrorist suspects, but people in government, businessmen, and other people in France, according to Le Monde in any case. And I think that's what caused the kind of outraged response that we saw today. Laurent Fabius, the foreign minister, had this to say about it.
These kind of practices between partners that violate privacy are totally unacceptable. We must quickly assure that these practices aren't repeated. So the ambassador will be received this morning at the Quai d'Orsay.
In fact, Fabius was not there to receive him. A junior minister at the Quai d'Orsay, the foreign ministry, invited the ambassador over. One person who will get an earful, no doubt, will be John Kerry, the Secretary of State of the United States, who happens to be in Paris on an Arab summit meeting, but in fact, he's going to now meet with Laurent Fabius tomorrow morning on this subject about the NSA. And just to put this into some perspective, Hala, this story has been burbling around here in France since back in June. On July 4th, the Interior Minister here rebuked the American ambassador directly at the July 4th activities at the embassy. There were not as many details about out at that point in time. And again in August, when the ambassador, Charles Rivkin, got his Légion d'honneur, the president of France rebuked him about NSA spying. So there's been a number of points along the line here where the French have already made these points. And it should also be said that on the 4th of July, the very day that the Interior Minister was talking to the ambassador, wagging his finger at the ambassador, Le Monde also had a piece about the French intelligence agencies and their spying activities, which basically concluded that, in fact, they spy in the same sorts of way, but perhaps not to the same degree as the NSA, Holland.
Right, but it's different when a foreign spy agency essentially collects data from 70 million phone calls in a friendly country, an allied country. What is Le Monde reporting about the scale of this operation? I mean, who was targeted? Was this just sort of like a mass collection of data and then you sift through it, or was this more of a pinpointed operation?
Well, the way they put it, and it's not totally clear from the article, but the way they put it is that certain email addresses, text addresses, and telephone numbers were subject to constant surveillance. That once they were called or dialed up, and in the case of a telephone or an email sent, that prompted a trigger within the NSA data collection services, and that automatically recorded whatever the conversations were. You know, by the way, the DGSE spying activities were against other countries, so it's not exactly the same sort of thing, but it's a similar kind of things that went on as far as the French intelligence activities abroad. It's a little bit disingenuous, I think, on the government's part right now to be expressing this kind of outrage because they're doing the same thing.
Right. Well, I think the citizens as well are expressing outrage, not least because they weren't aware of the scale of it. But we'll continue to gather reaction from officials, Jim, also from ordinary French people and their thoughts on it. Thanks so much.